Snow and ice operations continue. Dune nourishment options considered at Sandy Neck, and we'll tell you about an informational meeting for potential police recruits. These stories and more on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Tuesday, March 3rd, 2015. I'm Sarah Colvin. Well, it might be March, but winter persists, and with more snow expected later this week, Public Works crews continue to try to clear snow and hardpack from the roadways. Director Dan Santos tells us the focus is now on working on those secondary roads.
What we're hoping to do is eventually try to get some of this hardpack off the roads, and that's probably the biggest issue right now, I think, town-wide, is on the secondary roads. And the hardpack is ice, in some cases very thick ice, and we just can't remove it. So we have to wait for either warmer temperatures, sun, and we can add salt to help that out. Fortunately, over the last week, we've been able to get salt starting to come in from the company up in Chelsea that sends us the salt. We've been picking it up, but have only had a little bit. But we've gotten a lot of loads, so we've been able to put down more salt on the secondaries, which is really something we've never done. But this year we found that we need to do everything we can. So after the snow Sunday night, we plowed, and then we put down a mix of 2 to 1, which is 2 buckets of sand to 1 bucket of salt. It's the ratio we use, which is, the strongest we've ever put on the secondaries, which allows us not to use up all the salt. And so we're hoping that having that down, yesterday it was sunny, which was nice. Temperatures weren't too bad. Today, again, it's cold, but the sun's out. So, sun and traffic and salt working it in, we'll start breaking up some of that ice. And as soon as we see that it's starting to break up and there's stuff that's movable, we'll plow it. So we're out every day going around the town and looking and seeing at what point that's going to be.
A salt shortage plagued the region in mid-February, but Santos says that salt reserves are back in stock here in Barnstable. Let's hope that warming spring sun helps to clear some of this mess from our town. Well, should the town continue to spend money on sacrificial sand, or is it time to think about new solutions for shoring up the dune at Sandy Neck? State Energy and Environmental Affairs Secretary Matthew Beaton paid a visit to the beach last Friday, where Beach Park Manager Nina Coleman stressed the urgency of the issue.
We really have to address this right now so we don't lose our parking and try to buy some time, as Christine's talking about. Ultimately, there is talk of retreat, which is the big topic here for a lot of municipalities with these parking lot issues, and that's to pull everything back. Fortunately, we just redid everything up here, so that's pretty discouraging. But we do have multiple issues with retreat. We have spade-foot toad habitat directly behind us. We have plover habitat in front of us. We're sort of hemmed in. So, we need a path. We need a solution. We need a way to maintain this. We certainly can't expand our parking lot. That's been very clear over the years, but we don't want to lose any as well. So.
The front dune has eroded significantly over the years due to winter storms. A plan to place core bags along the dune for further stabilization is in the works, but the permitting process is not a guarantee. That plan comes with a high cost. Engineer Christine Player with CLE told Secretary Beaton that a stone revetment would be the best answer, but unfortunately the Wetlands Protection Act prohibits that kind of construction. Secretary Beaton says he is open to further conversation on the issue. The Barnstable Police Department is looking for a few good men and women, but as Chief of Police Paul McDonald says, the civil service test required for employment is only given once every 2 years.
The test is currently scheduled for April 25th, this coming April 25th, and the last day for sign-up is March 13th. And what it does, you give a test and then you're put on eligibility list, and that list stands for 2 years. So if we hire any police officer next 2 years, we'll be pulling from that list. And Barnstable is also a little bit unique than most of the other towns because we deal almost exclusively with residents. We try and get the word out. We're looking for young men and women from the town of Barnstable who grew up here to come to the informational meeting. We could tell them what they can expect. Members from the Department of Human Resources, Commonwealth Department of Human Resources will be there, explain the test to them, and give them some study guides, and then we'll go over the background, what we do in our entire selection process. But key, we would like to get as many young people or who have interest in becoming a police officer come out to the informational meeting and then to take the test on April 25th.
The informational session begins at 6:30 tomorrow night, Wednesday, March 4th at Barnstable Police Headquarters on Finney's Lane. Well, signs of spring are beginning to pop up. Little League signups took place last weekend, and Monday night, local Little League President Joe Scott provided an update to the Recreation Commission.
The league is in really good shape right now. We had a walk-in registration this weekend, and we've had our online registration open since the beginning of the year, and we're about halfway to our goal from last year's numbers already, which is really promising considering we have a couple feet of snow on the ground, and there's no sign of spring anywhere near coming. So it was a really good week event Saturday at the Elks. We had about 70 families come in, sign up their kids. Got to meet a lot of people in the town. It was just a good event we had. This year, a couple trends that we're noticing. There's a lot of girls signing up, which is awesome, I think. And there's a lot more kids from Hyannis, which I think contributes to the new field being down there. All the kids in that school seeing us build that field. There's a lot of excitement coming from that area, which in years past, maybe 10% of our kids were from Hyannis. Right now, the numbers that we have, and it's about 20%. So it's definitely an increase, which is a positive thing, I think, for the community. We just completed an umpire clinic. We have 20 junior umpires. They did a great job. We had a couple veteran umpires help them out over at the Elks this week, and they finished off at the high school field house on Saturday, and it was really great. It's 13, 14, 15-year-old kids that are going to umpire our minor league program, and it's a thing that we've been doing for many years, and it's one of my favorite parts of this whole thing, watching these little kids grow up. It's pretty intimidating when you go against some of these coaches in the minors for the first time, but when you see these kids go out there and umpire their first game or their second game, you can actually watch them mature in 2 hours. You know what I mean? They get one call, 2 calls. By the end of the game, they're really in the groove, and it's a really great thing. I know Kevin's 2 boys were there, and a lot of other people's kids were there too, and it's something that we're really proud of. We have a coaches safety meeting coming up at Com Fire Department on March 14th. It's a chance to get all our coaches in, go over safety, go over anything that has to do with Little League, hand out first aid kits, any materials, stuff like that. So that's something coming up. We're planning our spring cleanup day, much like we did last year. We had about 300 volunteers.
Just the managers meeting is going to be 10 to noon on Saturday the 14th.
Okay, can you repeat that? You couldn't hear you in the mic.
The Saturday, March 14th, we're going to have a coaches safety meeting. It's at Com from 10 to noon. They told us to limit it to about 30 people because they want to be able to, it's a firehouse, so we got to kind of limit parking and make sure they can still do their job. So we're going to have about 30 coaches and board members there to pretty much go over all the safety stuff.
The Little League season will kick off on May 1st. Director of Leisure Services Patty Machado is working with the Barnstable Youth Commission on a project involving homeless students. She spoke about the group's progress at Monday night's Recreation Commission meeting.
We started doing them. We did the training last Tuesday, and we started doing these surveys on Friday and Saturday, and we're already up to 100, which is way further than what we were last year, at the same day. And now tomorrow I'm going into the high school, and I'll spend the day in the high school with a bunch of teachers and students to get the rest. So we're going to be above what we received last year. And last year you realized the impact that it had was huge. But the kids have been really enthusiastic and wanting to do more, so there may be more coming from that. The staff the Youth Commission itself has some more ideas of what they can do to help youth that are homeless and couch surfing. So you may see more coming from them after the youth
Meetings
summit.
tonight include the Town Council Parking Subcommittee at 6 in the Town Council Conference Room and the Conservation Commission at 6:30 in the hearing room. Details and agendas can be found online at town.barnstable.ma.us. Be sure to tune in to our daily live newscast, Barnstable This Morning at 7 a.m. weekday mornings on tomorrow's show. Our Business Barnstable segment with Cape Cod Chamber Executive Director Wendy Northcross, Richard Scally of Regulatory Services, Veteran Services with Ed Merrigan, and Director of Finance Mark Milne. With Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Colvin.